No.
No? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Oh, I see how it's going to be. You're going to be that guy,
Could be sassy.
Mr. Sassy Pants.
Usually that's you.
My pants are I'm not wearing my Deadpool pants, so I am not wearing my sassy pants.
Okay. Okay, so before we start, we're going to adopt an optional feature in the module that's called a shared dark secret. What this is, it's a secret from the past that binds our party together, or your party, because, I'm not really one of you.
You're always one of us, Chester.
This secret can and will likely ruin each and every one of your characters, and everyone that depends on your character should it ever get leaked. So basically, it's like something bad that happened in the past that you guys want to keep under wraps, but it kind of binds you together at the same time, because if this were to get out, you and anyone who depends on you could basically just be up shit creek without a paddle. So I've said before that you guys are going to be part of a crew, which there is a handout on those if you haven't read it. A crew is in Baldur's Gate is effectively a cross between a neighborhood watch and an anti-gang. They're very nebulous with membership, territories, interests, goals, area responsibilities, alliances, and enmities that all shift on a regular basis. Guilds will set up their own crews sometimes. Neighborhoods will have their own crews. It's very nebulous. It's basically the line between a crew and an actual gang is a very thin gray line.
I think Terry has the most important question. Do we get whistles?
Do we get whistles? Probably not.
Oh.
I mean, nothing says you can't try and commission them. I don't know if they exist. I never really looked into that. Actually, I think they do exist. So you can probably get someone. You can buy anything in Baldur's Gate, but we'll get to that later.
Okay.
All right. So your crew is going to be centered on the neighborhood you live in, which is an area that has affectionately, or not affectionately, come to be called Hell's Kitchen. It's a sprawling region of homes and businesses that all have ties to infernal blood in some of the families that have settled there. So basically like tieflings. And it's kind of like, you've got Chinatown in the real world, or Baldur's Gate House has Little Kalimshan, which is the same idea of Kalishites, but that's like actually in the outer city. You guys are in the lower city, and you've got your own little block where it seems like all the tieflings just kind of, or at least the ones with infernal bloodline, kind of found this is like a good neighborhood for us, and they've settled there and opened businesses there, and it's a little bit racist, but whatever.
Okay, just a little bit. I'm just saying I can't do a Brooklyn accent, so I'm not.
That's fine. Not required at all.
Thank God.
All right, so before we get to your introductions after this exercise, some things I'd like you to think on while we're doing this exercise is how and why you personally came to join the crew. Like, was it because you felt some civic duty to the neighborhood? Was it like your community service type thing? Was it a quid pro quo with the neighbors? Were you looking for security in numbers? Did you have an encounter with the crew in the past where maybe they saved you or did something good for your business or someone you love? Is it just because your friends are in it? Following the footsteps of a mentor, family member, whatever, just something to kind of think about yourself so that when you do your intros, your colleagues are going to know why you're there because you've been working together for at least a year.
Okay.
So that said, when you're thinking about that, the best of intentions often pave the way to hell. The crew of Hell's Kitchen is most assuredly no exception to that irony. But see how that all just tied in there?
Uh-huh.
I was feeling very clever when I wrote that. So, a year ago, your crew, while attempting to do the right thing, which we're going to figure out together, accidentally murdered an innocent person. As a collaborative event, we're going to structure that narrative in a sequence that we're all going to roll a d6. And a roll will be assigned. Duplicates will result in a reroll. The last player to have a roll that's not a duplicate will begin our collaborative narrative, and I'm going to walk us through this as we go. Okay. So, over in roll 20, on the cool chat screen, because I didn't have it up yet. Hopefully no one did anything. Okay, Terry's already rolled a 6. So we're just going to go down my row here. Oh, never mind. Becca's rolled a 3. Jack of your own numbers, go ahead. Strauss ordered a 1, 2, and a 5.
So only 2 people rolled a double.
You're a 4 because we already have a 3 and you were the last one in.
Okay.
So what this means, you should now all be able to see a hand up that just came up.
Ooh.
All right. You've all been assigned a roll based on your roll, where Shanna, obviously you're a 4, not a 3. So the person who rolled the number 1, who was Strauss, you were the murderer.
Well,
Whether
it
it
makes
was
sense.
a blade, a shove, or deliberate inaction, you are somehow the person who took that life.
So,
Intentional or not, your hands are the bloodiest.
I would like to, because Strauss is kind of geared towards persuading people in a weird, dark sort of way. Could he have, like, accidentally caused somebody to commit suicide?
We're going to get to this. So let me go through the roles here so that everyone sees what's going on, or I'm sure you're all reading ahead while I'm talking.
No.
Everyone's got a role, and if for some reason you really feel like your character would fit one of the other roles better before we start the actual narrative building, then I will allow tradesies if both parties are willing. So right now, the number 1 person is the murderer. The number 2 person, you were a bystander. You actually were close enough physically that you could have stopped it, and you chose not to. You didn't freeze. Right. You literally chose not to do it for some reason. Number 3, the instigator. You're the architect of this incident. Your words pushed someone over the edge. Whether you did it on purpose or it just got out of control, you were basically the person driving the emotional battle here. That's why I was thinking, Scott, you might even be trying to jump on that one. I don't know, because that kind of points to that one also.
No,
in hindsight, the truth of the mistake, afterwards, you're now living with the guilt of the fact that you really egged it on. Number 4, the liar. You knew what happened. You were there, the one who crafted all the cover stories to conceal the crime. You worked the hardest and continue to work to keep that secret buried in the past. And your collective backsides out of prison or worse. 5, the profiteer. Travis, somehow your character has benefited the most from this murderer. We'll probably talk about what that entails offline. But you actually stand to lose the most because you have gained the most on a personal level from the murder. And number 6, the weak link. Who's our weak link?
That's
Terry.
Wow. So, rumors have become to surface about the deceased and what did or didn't happen. Someone has been asking around. You've caught wind that someone's asking around. So, right or wrong, the rest of the crew, except for one person, suspects that you're the one who blabbed. You were there, but barely involved, and you have the least to lose if the truth comes to light, or so everyone thinks. Luckily, this whole thing with El Turel, which is the setting stuff we'll get into later, kind of has the law distracted right now. So the spotlight's not really on, but somebody's asking questions, which is a little weird. Now we're going to get into the part that I don't have a handout for, where we're going to craft this narrative. Does anybody want to switch roles before we start?
So I was talking about doing the instigator thing, but I think it would be probably better, especially with Strauss's. I'll be the murderer unless Becca wants to be the murderer.
Okay. Is anybody taking notes?
I am starting to take notes. Yes.
Okay, good. Because I'm talking and I'm not writing or typing, and because we're in multiple mixed modes now, I've got way too many windows up. So you're taking notes on this. Got it. Awesome. So what we're going to do first, number 5. Who did you kill, or who was killed? I would like you to NBC on the fly a name, a gender, a race, and what they did for a day job.
That would be me. Can you hear me?
Yes, that would be you.
Yep.
We can hear you.
I can't get my speakers and headset to work right, but whatever. Anyways.
Okay.
So we killed...
Link is already trying to have feign innocence. I like it.
I do kind of love that Terry got the weak link.
Yeah, there couldn't have been a more fitting role if you had written it specifically with him in mind and assigned it. Every campaign has been a grand betrayal at the very end, and who hasn't been every time? It was tailored.
Where did that go?
Okay.
I don't know, where did it go?
So who did we kill?
Yeah. Who's
Travis hasn't told us yet.
I didn't hear the last part. What were we supposed to do?
Hold on, I'm pasting for you. So Travis, this is what you have to decide.
Okay. We killed a guy named Lord Chester.
I love it.
He is a human male, and he was a tax collector
Okay.
in the shipyards.
Okay.
Do we get to keep riffing off this? Because I.
Yep, that's what's going to happen. I actually have a structured order for how we're going to start revealing things. That's what I meant by a collaborative exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So, you got all that, Becca?
Yep, got it.
All right. So, number 1. How did it happen?
Oh, I just typed it. Or what
Were you
part?
number 1?
Yeah, that would be me.
So number 1 gets to decide how it happened.
Damn it.
As the actual murderer, he can decide if it was literally an accident or whatever. It's up to him. Craft that narrative.
So it was, we're there to make sure that everything stays safe and copacetic, and I have a bunch of orphans and children that I have to keep after at the night, and things get really messy when you're trying to disrupt things, and so there was a bunch of shadows, and I was throwing spells around a lot, and so maybe one of my rays of frost happened to hit somebody that I wasn't intended to. I'm kind of new at this whole vigilante justice thing. I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're going with accidental death.
And
What was the
frozen
bit
solid.
about- What was the bit about orphans? That I
It
got
has
lost
to do with
on.
my character's backstory.
Okay.
All right, you got all that, Becca?
So we were slinging spells around. There was a bunch of shadows. It was an accident.
And
Correct.
frozen solid.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the Lord Chester
I'm putting an E at the end of
It's
the
now a Chester sick.
is now a Chester sickle.
Okay. So, number 2. What could you have done to prevent this from happening? Like, what is that guilt that your character is now living with because you were close enough? What could you have done? What do you, in hindsight, was like, if I'd have done this, that person would still be alive?
Oh man. the character Lord Chester.
Yeah,
was-
we're not a bunch of murder hobos, so I'm trying to give you
Yeah.
all a little bit of.
Yeah, he was
guilt
trying to hit on my character. And,
Okay.
and if I had just accepted, maybe he would have been okay.
So maybe you were the ruckus that had Strauss slinging spells? Is that what's like that happened at the same time?
No, I mean, you could have, you probably saw the ray coming and dodged out of the way instead of.
Oh, instead of saving him. Okay.
Or maybe the ray was going for someone else, and you, through inaction, just let him stand there,
That works too.
or nudged him. Whatever.
It's kind of like,
entirely up to
hey,
you. I'm not
never mind.
letting you narrate your guilt.
It's hard because my character probably wouldn't feel guilt.
Yes, you're not a murder hobo. You feel guilt.
You feel guilt. You will feel it.
You will feel the guilt.
Make you feel guilt.
Okay, so we good with
Yeah, I
that?
probably could have, saved him by nudging him out of the way. I saw it coming.
Okay,
I mean, it's
you
not
saw
hard.
it coming. You just let it happen.
I know spells.
Yep.
I heard
You saw that ray of frost building in Strauss's hand, and you just let that happen.
And then, in hindsight, I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh, this is that moment where I'm supposed to help the other person out.
This is where I do
Darn, maybe next time.
Okay. So, number 3.
Yep, me.
Because this victim was innocent, was this person the intended target victim? This is entirely up to you because you were escalating this situation through your words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Let's see.
and if not, so this one's kind of this one's a builder, because if you want this person to not have been the correct person, then you have a follow-up question, and if it was, then you have a follow-up question. I'm going to put them both in there just so you can read them.
Okay.
So, was this person the intended target or victim? If not, who was? And if it was the intended target, where was the mistake made? Was it bad intel, wrong place, wrong time, rival's frame job, etc.?
Okay. So I think he was the intended target.
Okay.
The original intent, I believe, was not to kill him, but to interrogate him.
Okay.
Because the intel I had received was this person had actually been targeting young orphans,
Okay.
extorting them for money, and also doing other things to them. Now,
Gotcha.
in the aftermath,
So
That
what
was-
I'm seeing now is like this was actually a possibly having used Chris's character as a lure to bring this person in,
Oh my
Mhm.
god.
and then that kind of feeds the scenario. Is that what you're getting at?
yep.
Okay. I am good with that. All right. Number 4.
So,
What steps have you taken to cover this crime? This was a good one for you.
I know. Certainly make sure that I had witnesses elsewhere that Odd was nowhere near this when it happened. She was with me on the other side of town.
Just Odd? Odd is the only alibi you crafted?
No, Odd would be the first one, and the one that I would personally tie to she had been with me.
Okay.
But that is what I would do is I would craft alibis. Then would sorry, I'm learning names now. What's Becca? Where'd it go?
Davari.
Davari. Would Davari have been there as it happens? Were you a witness?
I'm pretty sure I was right there.
Okay.
Especially
Pretty much
if I was,
everyone was there and involved in some way.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then crafting various alibis for everyone would have been the number one priority. If yeah, that would have been the first thing.
Okay.
I kind of need to know more about the scene, and this is a problem. Yeah, this shouldn't have gone to me because I'm going to get too into the forensics of it.
That's good though, because that helps me find your loose ends.
And I will tell you, one of the biggest problems is like the as rare as tieflings are, tieflings that can cast cold-based spells naturally is an issue.
There's
And-
already 2 in this group, apparently.
So you already know that a body is a bad thing to leave around anyway.
Yeah, well, of course we're not going to leave the body there either. Alibis, what? Profit.
so 2 is dispose of body.
Yeah.
And where and how did we do that?
Well, I mean, we have my cult.
You have a
We could have
cult?
had a bonfire, a really convenient event.
Like, where would you have done a bonfire? Underground, in an alley? Where are you talking about?
Well, I mean, underground it would have to be properly ventilated, but if there was something that was easily used, not Cult of Shar, then we could do that.
Technically,
that could
Shar
be
is
out.
actually a goddess in Faerun, so like, is it
She
really
is,
a cult?
yeah.
Huh?
Nothing. Never mind.
Sorry, I just didn't hear. Yeah, so maybe that's actually part of the alibi as well, is everyone was running around doing things for this ritual, which I can come up with the details for an actual ritual later, like proper alibis. But yeah, he just
Okay.
his body ended up in the fire, and
Okay, so the body was burned
yes,
at a discreet location.
yes.
Were you the only one that attended that burning? Since it was with your cult, like, does everyone else know you have a cult? Are they down with that?
Odd knows for sure. Odd's in it with me.
Odd is in your cult.
Odd is in my Odd's my Hanai sister. She's with me with all this shit. If Eddie, I mean, I'm a recruiter, so if anyone was interested in the cult, this would be a very good time to introduce them.
So
to...
Strauss wouldn't be religiously, but academically, he would be. He's a giant nerd, so he's
perfectly fine.
yeah, he would like observe it, like with the understanding that, like, from an anthropological
I
perspective.
was just gonna say, from an anthropological perspective, like, I'll watch your weird shit, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you would be welcome for that.
Davari would be interested in observing it. Similar thing, academics, to see how a different religion or cult does things and what they believe.
Okay.
But as she is a cleric of Lathander, she probably would be trying to convert your cult members just by her own path that I don't know if you would have actually invited Davari.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I knew after the initial encounter, if I knew that you would actively be doing something,
I wouldn't be actively. It would be
just like being such a great presence that you want people to be like, oh, I like what she's got going on over there. I want to be like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would not actively undermine you because that's
Okay.
disrespectful to another religion.
That's super fine then. You'd be welcome.
Okay.
So you guys would. What about?
So you use cult resources to burn the body.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, that's good to know.
I would say Strauss probably was not actually there when the body was burnt because he'd be feeling exceptionally guilty about this whole mess.
Okay.
Okay. So alibis, body taken care of. Did you worry about any witnesses?
I mean, if there had been, yes, we would worry about that. The backup would also be making sure that it looked. What did a ray of frost have left any kind of physical indication?
I mean,
Like, would there be a trail for that?
no.
Probably not.
Because if it was a fireball, obviously scorch marks. Was there like a weird patch of ice on the ground or something?
That would have melted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then it's just water at that point.
Okay, then yeah, leave it. The classic icicle murder weapon. It melts, but how'd he die?
Yeah.
Everybody loves the ice dagger routine,
Yeah. The ice bullet.
right?
Because that's how that works.
Yeah.
If there were witnesses, yes or no?
You have no idea. I just asked if you would have taken measures to take care of witnesses and how you would do that if there were or were not.
Well, I imagine if this had been at least somewhat orchestrated beforehand, Devarian, Strauss, and Odd would have planned to be in an area where there wouldn't be witnesses.
Yeah,
So-
and also Strauss would kind of. Strauss isn't going to shake somebody down, but he's very good at convincing somebody that they didn't see what they thought they saw. We'll phrase it that way.
So we'd use you for cleanup.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Which you?
More like he's going to gaslight somebody, like with illusion magic and charm person, and yeah.
All the okay, then yeah, your cleanup crew.
Cool. Okay. So number 6. Which member of the party would you have invested the most time and energy into convincing that you have not told a soul and you are not in fact the weak link, even though everyone else thinks you are?
I'd
Wait.
say Travis's character.
Who?
Travis's character.
Okay. So, Strauss, you were convinced that, was it Milo? Was that the name?
Correct.
I forget. Milo?
Yep.
Okay.
Milo or Mello.
Strauss
whatever.
is convinced that Milo was not the weak link and hasn't told anyone.
But no,
But nobody else
wait.
Travis's character. That's Decimus.
I'm confused. What?
I'm
Decimus is
playing
Travis'
Strauss.
character. Strauss is
Travis'
Strauss.
character is Decimus.
Yeah, I thought he said Strauss. So Decimus is who you're convincing?
Correct.
Okay, so Decimus, sorry. Decimus is the only person here who totally believes that Milo is not the weak link and hasn't told a soul. Everyone else is pretty convinced that if someone talked, it was Milo.
I like that.
But not Travis. Travis, your character, 100% on board that Milo did not tell a soul. Okay. You got everything, Miss Becca?
Yes, thus far.
Good. That is an event that happened a year ago in your guys' lives. That is
Okay.
in the past. That is the guilt or crosses that you bear in whatever level or shape that you decide to have borne them in for the past year. And you know that someone's been asking questions, but luckily, something has recently happened that we will be getting into after introductions that has changed the spotlight. So even if someone's asking, it's not the police, if you will. So, that's out of the way. Getting through that. Okay, shall we do introductions?
Sure.
Yay. Let's start with, we're going to go left, right on my screen. So, Chris,
Goody.
Yay. All
I
right.
don't know where you're at.
So my character is a female tiefling, red skin, very short, thin, with black hair tied up, long red tail. she usually wears some kind of like robe type setting type thing. She has a very kind of almost naive personality a little bit, but also a little crazy. Like you might see like she might appear sane at some points, but then there's just she's talking to something she doesn't see that nobody else sees.
That'll happen.
So,
Talks to toasters. Got it.
I just typed that I think he's role playing Shayna.
I don't understand why you're being so rude to me. I don't. What did I do to deserve this?
All right. Is there anything about your character that the party would have learned through, at the very least, this year, if not longer, of being a part of a crew in Hell's Kitchen? I mean, obviously, they're going to figure out that you're following around.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that I'm around her almost most of the time, and that I'm a part of the cult kind of thing. I'm just
Okay.
but
Lay member, I get it.
There's not too much that they've found out so far. I keep to myself for the most
Okay.
part.
So the quiet, crazy chick. Got it. Next up on my screen would be Becca.
Ooh, me. Okay. So Davari is a cleric of Lathander. She is a tiefling. She's very pale for the most part, except her skin is very red in highlighted sections, so like around her face and like down her neck, and anywhere that there would be shadows is actually very red. So she does still stand out. She has 4 horns. The top 2 actually curve gently back, and the bottom 2 actually curl down by her jawline. And she has black hair that fades to red tips. She does have a tail with a spade at the end. She is ridiculously klutzy. Like, she would trip over her own feet and smash her face into a wall type klutziness. And she is a cleric and has been working at St. Trinian's, so long as Chester is okay with that name.
Sure. I learned it from you guys, so why not?
Yep. Caring for the orphans that are being taught and raised there. St. Trinian's is not a Lathander orphanage. It actually teaches multiple religions there. And that is Davari. Oh, she also likes making Strauss uncomfortable.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Who is conveniently the next person on my screen.
Okay. Louis Strauss is a Levistus tiefling, so he has actually got his skin is extraordinarily pale to the point of basically looking like snow, like the color of snow. He also tends to form ice crystals on his skin as any kind of moisture gets in there. Most notably when he tears up or anything, but just natural moisture in the air will actually freeze against his skin. He's got silver hair, tiny little horns. He tends to wear eyeglasses, and then he's always in kind of a black cloak and like tunic setup. He's very professory because he is a professor. He grew up at St. Trinian's Home for Wayward Youths, and then kind of never left. He became a professor and just basically like teaches the orphans history and religion and science and a bunch of other things. He's also like one of their primary fundraisers. He's very good at like going around and talking to people and getting them to donate. That's pretty much him. The killing of Chester is weighing very heavily on him. He's probably actually gotten thinner in the past year as the guilt is weighing heavily on him.
All of you pay attention. That is what would happen. It's not a way to pass weigh-ins at work.
Yeah, probably shouldn't murder someone just for the guilt to set in to lose the weight.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's a bad dietary.
So
So
like keto, murder.
Alrighty. That brings us to the next person on my screen is Miss Shayna.
hello, I'm Lolo, like Lolo. Um, she is also a nemesis tiefling, but she has more human tone skin other than the areas where you would blush or bruise. The coloring underneath is blue rather than red. So similar to the highlights, but it has to do with how close to the surface the blood is. Early 20s, probably about 5'7". She has tar-shaped horns, like just really standard, that curve back and also have blue highlights. Salt and pepper, black hair. Oh yeah, we rolled that chart. She has 2 sets of eyes, apparently. One solid black, one solid white, corresponding to dark vision and standard vision. Icy cold breath that fogs at all temperatures except the very lowest. And it puffs out through, she has very sharp regenerative teeth. So if they break off or something, they just grow back like a shark's. And probably spends most of her time with her cult and Odd. Very open about being in the cult. And yeah, just pretty happy to be a recruiter, comfortable with it.
Loud and proud.
Yeah, why not? It's a good cult. We got good shit going on.
And have you shared who the patron of your cult is?
You and I haven't finished discussing that, so I mean,
Okay.
if people want to know, sure, but also, I kind of figured you'd tell me because I didn't know what your thoughts were for that.
Awesome.
So,
So yeah,
that
let's see here.
yeah.
There's this dark elf who worships Shard. No, I'm kidding.
Like him already.
Right? I am kidding. All right, we'll figure out your cult on the side then.
Okay.
Moving next is Terry.
Hi, I'm Terry. My character is Mello, or Milo. Depending on how to say it, it's Milo Yahalo. I am a yellow tiefling. I wear an outfit that looks like Dr. Frankenstein's. It's like pretty much Soul Eater with patch different spots along those lines for it. But most of the time, I'm usually wearing a robe over it. I'm covered usually in a layer of bandages over my body, over my head, to cover where my horns are. So if you guys get a chance to see me, I don't have horns over tail because of other reasons. We'll get into that a little bit later. But when my actual horns grow out, they look like bonsai tree, but maple, ghost purple maple leaf trees for my horns. And my tail specifically looks like a raccoon, but with purple variations of it. But I am usually covered in actual bandages for the most part for my body, covering where my tail would be, sparingly over my body to cover part of my bruises that are there. My fingers usually covered with bandages, as well as my left eye. I have a small cat that I keep with me, a small stuffed cat named Tickles. When it was alive, it used to have lots of ticks, and I used to eat it for sustenance. And since it died, I was very sad, but I was able to, stuff it and keep it with me. So I'm very happy, and I'm never alone. You can usually, when you get close enough, you can possibly smell it from me and anything else that's in my bag. For my character, getting a little bit more into it, my character is actually 60 years old, but my body is that of a 20-plus-year-old. I'm actually on my 3rd body. We'll get into that more with my actual character. That's my test subject background for my background, but I'm not sure exactly who my experimenter is. Chester hasn't had a chance to tell me. So I think as part of the story, we'll figure out.
I dodged that question.
So there's a bunch of different ones, 1 through 12, and or another one for him to figure that out. Basically, I'm working for that person, and my goal for my character is to find someone to replace me. Either literally replace me, or for me to take over their body. And we'll get into that more, hopefully, when we actually get to it. My deity is Don Ador, and we'll get into that later when that actually pops up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else for the most part. Yeah, I think that's it for my character.
Oh, I should probably say my deity is Celeborn.
Yay. Okay. That brings us to Mr. Travis.
So my character is basically Dr. Frankenstein. He takes lost souls and he puts them in bodies. Oh, no, sorry, that was my other character.
Terry's like, Papa?
It has been perfect.
I don't have your audio anymore, Mr. Travis.
Yep.
Nope, lost it.
What did you do?
Broke it. Or is it my fault?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Weird. All right, we just moved, okay? I haven't unpacked yet, but the computer's set up mostly. And we're in my wife's room, so anyways. I am playing Decimus of Westgate. Decimus is probably new to this neighborhood. I'm going to retcon my backstory a little bit, and this incident was kind of what brought him to the neighborhood in the first place, since he profited from it. Kind of works with what I'd already written. Decimus is a winged tiefling. He is dusky, gray-skinned, golden-eyed. His horns are more like Darth Maul's, small horns, but a crown of them, and a spade tail. He kind of fancies himself as a vengeance knight. He has a reputation for being really enthusiastic about the vigilante justice. He's a little bit reckless and gruff and a contrarian, but he's been hanging out in the neighborhood. And not for the cult. He is a paladin of Tempest.
Dun dun dun.
Killjoy.
So he did not go witness your burning body.
Boo.
Actually, I would have gone to witness the burning body to make sure that it was done right.
Fair. Yeah,
Because I don't trust these cultists. You don't know what
Were
they're
you
up to.
scowling the entire time at us?
Oh, absolutely. My arms were crossed.
Muttering the
I like
entire time of like that the fire is taking too long. It's not hot enough. Like you'll never.
Well, you won't be able to help with that, so let someone who has fire.
Amateurs.
You do
How
have to
many
read-
tieflings does it take to start a bonfire?
You do need a very specific temperature to burn human flesh.
We do.
That is true.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, if you want to know forensics of it, I can tell you what we would do with all of the leftover little bits that won't burn in the fire, no matter how hot we get it.
Yes, I would love to hear this.
Okay, so if there is a beach or anything sandy nearby, yes or no?
A beach?
Yes, a beach would be best if it's volcanic sand.
Well, it's probably not very sandy, but there is a beach because this is Boulder's Gate. There's cool maps. You
Okay.
can check out in the Gazetteer.
I'll look at those maps at some point. But yeah, so we would, any of the leftover bone bits would go in the sand because the acidity there actually is going to erode the bones a lot faster than if you were to, say, bury them in the dirt or something like that. So I could get you the actual math on it, but depending on what remains of the bone fragments, it could
For
take anything.
anyone watching this on Twitch, please do not hide bodies in sand.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Explanation. I'm forensics. That's my thing. Sorry.
No,
I have training. I'm not a murderer.
He's just teasing you.
I promise.
Uh-huh.
I'm a vegetarian. I can't kill. That's connected, right?
So, Shayna, for your player reference,
Thank you very much.
Boulder's Gate was founded basically by pirates.
I already like it. Okay.
If you zoom out on the main screen, that was a picture of the little. It's like technically it's on a river, but it's a coastal river, so it's just up.
Okay.
I showed the high level map of that, which if you click on it enlarges.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you would like the regional map, you can actually see how far up the river it is on, as opposed to the actual coast that it services.
Okay.
Look, it's
Yep.
the Sea of Swords.
It is the Sea of Swords out there.
So
Out
yeah,
there.
anywhere I could access sand, we wouldn't want to just toss it in the water because that won't really do anything. It'll just carry it back up. You don't toss bodies in the water; they don't stay down, and it doesn't matter if you tie it up in rope and then throw it down. The ropes are going to cut through the flesh when it bloats enough, and then it'll still rise up in bits. Then instead
Yeah,
of
but we've already burned it, so we would just it'd be bones, right? And bones should be denser than water. I actually
they
don't know.
should be, yes, and they will. Those would sink, yes, but then they actually won't deteriorate as fast. The best thing to do, if we could get underwater and then bury it in one of the sand deposits there, that would be numero uno. But I'm sorry, we won't keep talking about this. We'll change it. Someone else talk now.
Yeah, this episode of Dexter has been brought to you not by HBO, but by Shayna.
Oh, I never get to talk science anymore. Leave me alone.
Okay. So, Baldur's Gate, basically the Gotham City of the Forgotten Realms. Everything here is about the economy and making money for the people who have money and losing money for the people who don't have it. I have the cool intro, which I've tweaked, that I'm going to read now. It's my turn to talk for a little bit of time. Oh no, I lost my scroll arrow again.
I'm going to
All
mute
right.
myself so I'm not tempted to interrupt.
Very good. So, welcome to Baldur's Gate, a veritable nest of rats and vipers clinging to the rocky slopes overlooking the Kyanthar River. From their high perches in the upper city, the local nobles, known as patriarchs, gaze down with veiled contempt upon the common rabble in the grimy lower city, where you all live,
Rude.
which hugs the foggy harbor. The whole of Baldur's Gate reeks of blood, crime, and opportunity. One can easily fathom why pirates and traders are drawn to this place like flies to a carcass. Following the river further east would eventually lead you to El Turel, capital of the Holy Land of Elturgard, or at least that was the case until a few days ago. The flood of refugees from El Turel has gotten worse since news first arrived that the city has fallen. Everyone is saying that Baldur's Gate is next, but no one truly knows who or what claimed the city of El Turel. The patriarchs, the rich people, they pay a mercenary army called the Flaming Fist to protect their interests in Baldur's Gate, and by extension, the city itself. The Flaming Fist has gained even more power since their charismatic leader, Ulder Ravengard, claimed the title of Grand Duke a few years ago. Apparently, with the Grand Duke now missing, in his absence, the Flaming Fist has sealed the city gates to staunch the flow of refugees. No one is presently allowed in or out. The news sheets have had little to offer beyond that. The fists wandering the streets, not actively preoccupied in keeping the peace or mitigating angry mobs, have remained tight-lipped at the best or have offered gauntleted backhands at the worst if pressed. Luckily, as a personal favor to his constituents in the lower city, Captain Zaj has declared that he'll be making rounds to the various crews of consequence and briefing them directly on the state of affairs. The fact that your crew has received a summons for such a meeting, let alone are apparently the first, if word is to be believed, has come as quite the surprise. Hell's Kitchen, as you know, isn't exactly a popular neighborhood, especially for non-tieflings. A Flaming Fist patrol hasn't stepped foot on your turf in nearly a 10-day, and no one can recall clearly when the last time an actual captain deigned to visit. By all accounts, when he's not flexing his military muscle or taking bribes, Captain Zaj presents himself as a forthright, level-headed man who treats others with the respect he demands in return. As he enters the burned-out perimeter of what used to be Cracklin's Bakery, Captain Zaj's bearing and countenance match his reputation. He enters what used to be the shop's main room, alone, his iron-shod boots sinking deep into the ash as he trods over to where all of you are presently lounging. He looks tired. His retinue of 6 well-armored flaming fists of equal reputation take up position to ensure that the meeting goes uninterrupted. He clears his throat and says, "Who's in charge?"
Uninterrupted? Sorry.
Yeah, I caught it too. So we're there? I'm a little confused. We're all there.
We're all lounging there.
You are presently in what used to be a bakery. It burned down, so like there's still a little bit of the frame around the property, but this building like burned to ash. So he set the meeting there because it's pretty easy to find, being that there was a fire there recently.
Okay.
And he arranged to meet with your crew there.
So Decimus is going to stand up and cross his arms and scowl. Say, this is a crew. We're all in charge.
Louis is going to be like flipping through a book and just kind of tell me when something interesting happens. I feel like I've read this story before.
Davari will go. You called us here to talk to us. What is this about?
Then I'm gonna guess one of the two of you were in charge. And he just kind of like looks back and forth, and then because he's a chauvinist, he turns to Decimus and he continues.
Okay.
The refugee crisis has stoked fears that Boulder Gate might suffer the same fate, of which nothing remains but a hole in the ground, apparently, with its vanishing. The Grand Duke has gone missing also, his goodwill mission to El Turel apparently having met a grisly fate, along with the city itself. If you can believe it, they're saying it's a coincidence. The refugees can't seem to get their stories straight. They've stirred significant civil unrest accordingly with their bold claims and accusations. The city has been sealed until we can mitigate the threat, and we're arresting all insurgents on sight. 12 riots in the lower city already have been put down today alone. And this on top of our normal peacekeeping duties, which has left me with decidedly short-handed to deal with another matter of grave importance, specifically regarding murder. And his gaze just kind of sweeps the party.
Murder? That's awful.
And then it just kind of lingers momentarily on Strauss. And then
Strauss is
hands
going
it-
to patently not look up from his book.
So
my-
are you saying you're
My
hiring
wing.
detectives?
And then he looks back to Davari and he says, "What do you know of the Dead 3 cult?"
The Dead 3 cult?
Is that my cult?
Can I do a religion check?
You can do a religion check.
Can
Chester,
Strauss
my
do a religion check?
Anyone who wants to can do a religion check.
My name just jumped out at us.
Nat 20, so 22.
Professor?
What?
22 for me as well.
No, I said it's not your cult.
Okay, I didn't hear you.
Does that name come up for anybody though? Is it like,
What's that?
does the name come up for anybody? Does it ring a bell? So even if it's necessarily their cult, is it somebody else's cult that we might be tied to?
No, this is actually a very well-known cult in Boulder's Gate.
I'm also
So
known. I don't know.
the gist is, there were 3 gods who were very evil guys who used to be mortal. They earned their way into godhood. You had... where'd that thing go? I had a handout to make for this and I didn't make it. I was just going to bring it up and be lazy, but it didn't work. Oh, what were the 3 names? Because it's very pertinent.
Mercule.
Dead 3, there you go.
All.
Baal, Merkel, and
I
Bane.
can never remember Bane.
Yep, so Bane, the Lord of Tyranny. Baal, Bhaal, the Lord of Murder. And Merkel, the Lord of Bones. They make up the Dead 3. While these 3 deities lost most of their power when they died, their fates command respect and fear throughout Boulder's Gate. While open worship of the Dead 3 is frowned upon in Boulder's Gate, their worship is not illegal so long as worship remains within the laws. Every now and then, rumors surface that a powerful political figure, rises to the top, tries to shake things up. They usually end up with campaigns, some true, some not, and they're just basically evil, murder-happy cult.
Okay, but this captain just kind of dropped this name and like just kind of like it was a thing, right? Like he's not.
So those are the things you guys know, because that's what you got out there.
All right. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's kind of heard of the Three Hands cult. What about them?
Let's see here. Yes. Wow. The death cult is rumored to have been capitalizing on my men's preoccupation, claiming credit for half a dozen murders since yesterday and promises of more tonight. Preoccupied or not, I'm not ignoring this threat. I found we'll call her an informant, who claims to have intimate knowledge of the cult here in Boulder's Gate for a price. It's a price I'm willing to pay if what she has to offer can be vetted. As a taste, she's told my men that there will be a murder here in Hell's Kitchen tonight.
This is Hell's
I want you to
Kitchen.
vet this
There's
tip.
murders here every night. That's.
Excuse me.
It would actually be more of a prognostication to say there's not going to be a murder.
Oh, he's looking for a specific one.
Excuse me.
So he's back to looking at Decimus now because, he's decided he's the leader.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I want you to vet this tip. Find proof that those responsible, if anyone has ties to the guild, to the.
Excuse me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Hello.
Mello, you're going to have to speak up if you want him to hear you. It's okay. You got this. Go ahead, speak up. Let the light of Lathander shine upon you, Mello. Just go ahead. Let your voice out.
It's evening. He's the Morning Lord. Speak.
What is her name?
Whose name?
Informant.
We'll get to that if things pan out.
That doesn't help us though.
You don't need to talk to my informant yet.
I'm a little.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout.
Okay, you've dropped a lot of. You've said a lot of things, and you haven't told us yet what we need to do.
I lost you there at the end, Scott. I'm sorry.
Strauss is just kind of again still like just reading his book, but it just says, "You've said a lot of words, and not give us any tasking yet. Are you
That's
just here
because
to
I was
talk at us?"
interrupted by that one. And he looks back to Decimus. I want you to vet this tip, find proof of those responsible if anything exists, and if you can, maybe stop the murder. You can find me at the gate in the morning to let me know what you found. Dawn at the latest, if nothing. And he tosses a brown leather pouch to Decimus. And he says, "Don't abuse that." And he turns to leave.
Bye. It's nice meeting you.
Yeah. Thanks. Wait till he's gone, and then I'll dump the pouch on the table.
So inside the pouch, there are 6 bronze badges with the Fire Fist symbol on them. Each one is engraved with each of your names. I mean, there's one for each of you with a name already engraved, which means he did his homework. Which tells you he did his homework before he showed up. It's very well known that being deputized or conscripted is not optional with the Fire Fists. At least on the grid side, these bronze badges are recruitment and not conscription, and that usually just means you're a temporary deputy as opposed to in the army now. Along with the badges, there is a nice surprise though. There's 12 gold coins, each bearing the sigil of the Fire Fist on one side and the seal of Boulder's Gate on the other.
This is definitely getting abused. I'll grab mine.
I'll grab mine and hand odds to her.
Badges and drink money.
Fine. This.
I'm not putting mine on.
Yeah, no.
Just put it in your pockets. I mean, we don't have to be open about it, but we might have use for them later.
Strauss will affix it to the back of his cloak so he can flash it if he needs to, but otherwise it's not gonna that way it's not obvious. And then we'll take a single gold, put it in his book. Did he actually tell us where this murder was going to take place? I'm still a little confused.
He just said in your neighborhood.
All right.
So each of us get 2 gold coins.
Mm-hmm.
Are these special gold coins, or are this the standard mint for the city?
They look standard.
I think by that he means, or correct me if I'm wrong, Trav, do you mean since they have the Fire Fist stamp, is that typical of the currency in the city?
Yes, they look like standard coin fare.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go out there and crack some heads. find out what's going on.
He didn't give us much for bribes, did he?
No, really didn't.
Sounds like you got shitty tips.
Ugh.
Just in this area. Good job.
I'm telling you. I mean, it's a dangerous neighborhood. A murder and like, when's the last time there wasn't a murder?
Pretty sure that was 6 months ago on one of the solstices. And the whole neighborhood had gotten together for a party. That I'm pretty sure in the last 6 months, that is the only day that we haven't had a murder in the last 6 months
That we know of.
that we know of.
right.
I had to shut down classes early today, so I have all evening. What about you guys?
Eh,
I got nothing going on. How do we want to do this? Split up? Stick together? Go in groups?
We ask her. Actually, I'll turn to Lola. You want to talk to your followers, see if they know anything?
Yeah, sure. Odd and I can go
I mean,
check down that angle.
If there's another cult in town, I would assume that you guys have a similar demographic of recruitment.
It's debatable. No. What was it you said? 3 dead? Dead 3?
3 hands.
Dead three.
The
Dead
dead
three.
The people that are interested in the Dead 3 are not exactly my prime candidates. I mean, they're useful for fodder, but that's kind of it. I prefer people who have something to contribute.
Right.
Generally,
I'm saying, like, there's. They know it. I would imagine there's some commingling of, like, some of yours might know some of theirs, you know, like.
Possibly they saw something, yeah. At least there's that. I'll go have a chat.
I'll go ask. School wouldn't know anything. I'll go ask around. I'll go to the bar, see if any of the other entertainers have anything.
So I have a criminal background. Do I know of any snitches or informants in our neighborhood I could grill for information?
I would say, since you actually know your neighborhood pretty well, the Dead 3 is not a very popular cult in your neighborhood. Not really the sort of. I mean, basically, that's where you're going to get the murder hobos, the guys who are willing to kill people for money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really the kind of people you tolerate, squatting in your area.
Yep.
Actually, I'll look at the goal. I'm like, honestly, if we were looking at similar demographics for recruitment, I'd go talk to our employer. It seems like one murderer for hire is the same as the other. It's just they carry badges.
I could probably go talk to some of the urchins that St. Trinian's has been feeding. They might know something. I mean, little kids out on the street actually hear a lot more than people give them credit for.
When you're small, people overlook you.
Yep.
Jester, is there, besides the fact that it's a murder cult, do we know anything, like, do they target people politically, or is it usually pretty indiscriminate when they want to make a show?
It varies depending upon who's in charge, because it's technically 3 separate religions that are very closely intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever they get a new leader, sometimes they have a politically motivated leader. Sometimes they just have someone who's a religious zealot. Sometimes they're just floundering, and everything kind of goes in, ups and downs with various leadership accordingly.
Would there be any way we know who's in charge, or would any of us have any idea of who's currently?
Probably not without asking around.
Okay. My character's just gonna ask around in the street.
Okay.
Okay.
Davari is actually going to put her hand behind Mello and kind of push them forward. And so you've got something to say, go ahead, say it. It's okay. You got this.
So are we supposed to kill somebody, or are we supposed to stop from somebody being killed?
We're supposed to stop
Yes.
someone from being killed.
Oh, do we know who that person is?
We do not.
Oh, that's going to be a lot harder then.
Yes. So we're basically just trying to stop all murder in the neighborhood tonight. Unless we can determine who's being targeted ahead of time.
All right, so how many plans do we got? I'm going to go crack some skulls. You're going to go ask the kids.
Yep.
I'm just gonna ask around the streets, see if anyone's seen anything.
Okay, make your rolls with whatever skills you want to use to do these things for.
I'm gonna do persuasion because it's what I do.
'Cause it's-
I guess I will do persuasion as well.
Hey, Odd, you want to help me?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm gonna pour myself something. I'll be right back. Ooh, very nice, Chris.
Odd is very persuasive when she wants to be.
And Strauss is persuasive, and Decimus is persuasive in his own way.
Mello, why don't you come with me?
Okay, I'm right behind you.
Two, three, four, five.
Sorry.
Is that everyone who's rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Going down here in order. Lolo, you were a little possibly too highly ranked in the cult. So anyone you personally confront or try and talk to kind of is overboard with they would never do anything with people like that.
Yeah, they know my.
Like, even if they did know something, they would not talk to you.
Yeah,
That's what you're getting.
proof. All right.
Strauss, while hitting the streets, you definitely did hear from someone who heard from someone who heard from someone that tonight's not going to be a good night to be on the streets in Hell's Kitchen.
Did I get any more specific than that?
Well, they heard from someone who heard from someone who heard from someone that there might be some kind of gang violence going down tonight, and he just assumed that meant you guys were going to have a turf war with someone.
We're not a gang.
Not a gang. We are more of a club.
Yeah, totally a gang.
Patches. We need patches or like vests,
Right?
jackets.
Badges. made of bronze.
Davari,
Like
what
our
were you
own
doing with your roll?
colors that no one else can wear without getting beat up. So not a gang.
Yeah.
Right.
Davari is talking to the urchins that she's
Okay.
provides food for and heals their wounds and provides them a place to sleep at St. Trinian's at night. So she's talking to basically the abandoned children's of Hell's Kitchen to find out if they've heard anything.
Okay. So one, you actually do find one who leads you to another one. They are both. You probably recognize them as children who's got the sticky finger syndromes. They like to pickpocket people.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that one of their crew recently came back missing some fingers. And they've been hush-hush, and from what they were told is that there was someone new wandering the streets a week ago that was taking a very keen interest in all of the sewer access and roof access points in the area. Odd, from your fellow cultists, you actually heard that there are open auditions going for anybody who's looking to join the Cult of the Dead 3 right now. And you further heard, because you rolled so well, from someone that two members of your cult actually did try to go and join, but they failed whatever their initiation was.
And I don't figure out who those people are.
They turned up dead.
Oh, that is a failure.
Yeah.
Yep. Pretty strict recruitment standards, it sounds like.
Yeah, I'll tell that everything to Lolo.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I feel like it's kind of a cliff diving thing when you're joining a murder cult. It's either you're a grand champion or you're dead or you're splat on a rock. It's not. There's no like. It's a 1 or a 0. There's no scale of murder cult.
All right, and Decimus, who were you trying to intimidate?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was going to use a criminal contact
Okay.
and bully them for information.
Got you. So I will say that you found out very similar that the Dead 3 cult has been going through a recruitment drive, like high amped for some reason, and their initiation right to get in is to be part of a targeted murder or an abduction or what's the other one? Or a grave robbery.
Does he know anybody in the cult?
Does he know anyone who's willing to admit they are in the cult?
Does he know anybody who's in the cult?
The person you are talking to claims that they know someone in the cult.
I want a name.
It's my
An
girlfriend.
address.
You wouldn't know her.
This person claims that they don't do names.
Well, that's when I roll intimidation.
Just let you know, work together for over a year. So if you need to torture somebody, you know that I can help be able to be there for you to keep them alive all the time. Take the information.
So I'll try to persuade him to give me a name.
Okay.
I won't tell him that you had anything to do with it, of course. As a professional courtesy.
He assures you that he's not holding out, that he genuinely does not know the names of the people that he talks to in those circles. He finds that it's safer for him.
Wow, that is the darkest background ability ever. Okay.
Are you inflicting pain?
I'm not sure if he is or not. I was just saying he would know working with me for years. He would know that, especially since I know he trusts me.
Regarding that, it sounds like we're not going to get names. As soon as we get back together, I'm assuming that we've been working together for at least a year. We kind of know where to meet.
Yeah, the clubhouse.
So as Decimus is actually starting to walk away, his friend or his informant does grab his sleeve and say, "Listen," he's like, "I don't have a name, but if I were going to do something like this in your neighborhood, there's really, only like 1 or 2 places that something like that would be ideal to do it and get away with it, right?" And he just kind of gives you some winking.
My character is going to offer him a Kleenex. I think he has something in his eye.
He accepts your Kleenex.
I was gonna say, are Kleenex a thing here?
Do I know what place he's talking about?
You could probably figure out, like, if you were going to kill someone that you wanted to get away with, you could probably find some pretty good areas that would be suitable for that.
Okay.
A section of the neighborhood with narrower roads, less foot traffic,
All
more
right.
blind spots than usual.
I'll just nod and grunt.
Articulate.
Right. Okay. Well, then I guess you all meet back up at your quote-unquote clubhouse, if you have one, or at the ruins of the bakery. Take your pick. That could be your clubhouse for all I care.
We'd have had one, I think, that we were using longer, because you said that the bakery only burned down and that was why it was selected as a meeting point recently, right?
I would imagine
Yes.
because
Okay.
we're
Maybe
basically like...
Scott,
I would imagine that we don't so much have a clubhouse as much as we just have like a block or restaurants that know us and know to clear a table when we come in.
Yeah,
That works.
that's kind of what I was thinking too.
Okay. So you've met back up.
where it is that everyone needs to clear out. I didn't get anything specific. Anybody else?
Yeah. So some of the pickpockets came back from a trip missing some fingers, and there's someone new in the area looking at sewer access and roof access.
Great. Okay.
Well, I can I'll stretch my wings. I can patrol. There's a few good spots for picking people off, so we should focus our efforts on that.
So it sounded like this is indiscriminate stuff. You want?
Sounds like an initiation.
Yeah, it sounds like it doesn't. They don't care so much who dies as much as somebody dies. We want to set up one of these spots. I'll be bait again.
Yeah, I
Well,
wasn't
you
gonna
make
suggest.
just the most delightful bait. You really do. I mean, you just really sell it. Trying to be that.
last time you let Odd be bait, someone died.
I
See, I wasn't gonna say it. I'm just thinking it real loud. Also, I refuse to let Odd be bait again anyway. Because look what happened.
Yeah. Odd was so uncomfortable. All of us felt terrible putting her in that situation, and everything went south. And we've all agreed Odd is not going to be bait again. That Strauss just makes better bait because he looks like an old grumpy man.
All right, so let's plan.
All right, Decimus, you seem to be the most prolific in these areas, so you tell us where the best spot would be for me to die.
So I'll make a makeshift map on the table of whatever objects are at hand, and we'll draw up a battle plan.
Okay, we could do it that way. I'm actually going to, since you actually have wings, I'm going to roll on the fly with your new strategy here and reveal the overhead view of where you would do it if you were going to do it then. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Where was I?
Yeah, still have the A team stuck in my head thanks to somebody.
Jesus.
All right.
I
you
have it
guys
stuck in
zoom
my
out.
head because of you. I don't know why you have it stuck in your head.
Definitely not me.
All right. So go ahead and zoom out on the map that you should now be seeing.
I spy.
In Decimus's expert opinion, this particular area of your neighborhood is probably the most ideal with both roof and sewer access, blind spots, and lower foot traffic.
Yeah, okay. So Strauss is gonna go. He's gonna wrap his cloak on him so that it covers up his leather armor, and he's going to bring out a book and look like an absent-minded professor as he'll kind of time it for the end of the night. I can't hear what Travis is saying.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said, grab a bottle of something because murderers love that sort of thing. Maybe sing a little.
Okay.
Well, I'll be overhead. And you guys, you hide out here and here. So we'll
If
pick
you
out.
guys want to drag your tokens to where you'd like them to be on the map, you are more than free to.
We have tokens.
Well, I mean, you at least, the very least, have a picture that has white and purple zigzaggy things on it.
What's going on? Where?
And
Well,
Yeah,
Shayna's
Strauss-
got a burning skull thing you should be able to drag across.
No, I don't
No?
have anything. I
I
have
don't have one.
nothing.
Where am I?
Approved.
I haven't given myself a picture yet.
I haven't either.
Oh, I don't know if you want to take the murder of Crow Wine. I'm pretty sure that we lace it with dust.
Uh, yeah. So Strauss will go ahead. It's just water, but he'll have a bottle of like a opaque bottle, a green bottle, and he's like do, 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 do. And just kind of like hunch down and just upturn the bottle and then like flip through. I don't know. Does Boulder's Gate have like a newspaper or something?
Yes, lots of them.
Okay, he'll grab today's newspaper and like absentmindedly read it as he's downing and muttering about I don't know whatever's in the paper, like stupid patriarchs and always stomping on the little folk. Like the most mundane, like complaining about politics to no one
Yeah.
possible.
All right, so is everyone on the map? I only see 4.
Nope, I don't have a token.
Neither do I.
So you should just be able to grab the, like, you can see Becca's just got the little blank people thing there. You should just be able to drag that across.
Is that the side we're on?
I said because you guys pre-planned this and like Travis is technically planning. He made a little mini map of the town. As part of planning where you're taking up position, I'm saying you can put your tokens wherever you want them to be.
All right.
That's what I'm saying is there's literally not a token available on the screen that I can interact with. I see 4 or
Right.
5.
So you have to like drag the picture from your character sheet over. Will work for now.
Have one.
There's like a default. Let's see here, Davari.
I'm looking at it. That's what I'm saying. Like normally there is one and there isn't even a default.
Oh, you're just being difficult.
I
You should just
know.
be waiting for me.
It's technology. It's not allowed to function.
So not in your journal. You don't have Lolo.
My journal, I have my character sheet up. Bio and info is completely blank. Like there's just not.
Yeah,
anything.
mine too.
I'm gonna. Don't mind me. I'll find a random.
Nope, that's not going to work. I'm just going to give you guys tokens for now, and you guys can make new ones later.
Okay, that's fine.
Give me a Batman token.
I got a thing. Is that gonna work?
Thing?
Ah, I got one. I'm whatever this pink robot is.
Yeah, so there you go.
I just found the first image small enough on my desktop. That works.
That'll work today.
That's what's his name. Never mind. I know who that is.
So, Travis, you still need one? Is that the story?
I think so.
All right.
Odd. Where are you at on this map?
This one here is labeled Dead Soldier. We'll give you that one.
On this side.
I'm kidding.
On the left. You're the red one.
Yeah.
All right.
Over
What's up, Boo?
Give you control of
Yeah.
this, Mr. Travis.
No, your soft fluffy tummy is mine. You're being so mean.
All right.
Which
So-
one?
Ugh,
Oh, that one. Okay.
there you go. Yep, that one's you for now.
And
We'll
where's
figure out tokens for next
token?
week. It'll be a fun homework assignment for everyone to have a token for next week.
Tummy.
I already have one. I'm done with my
Touch your
homework.
tummy.
Teacher's pet.
Right?
Yeah,
I
great.
know, you're so mad.
He is in a cult. It tracks.
I mean. me.
Puma's looking at me like she is so pissed off at me.
So Decimus has laid out this map,
Uh-huh.
and you guys are formulating your plan. Formulate your plan. Or are you just all standing in random places and waiting to see what happens?
Oh, definitely not that.
We want to look as inconspicuous as possible, so I am going to do the great cleric of Lathander stuff, and I am in this area trying to find the homeless or urchins that need care.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing while also trying to keep an eye on Strauss.
I am trying to look as defenseless and murder worthy as humanly possible.
Short of writing the word "kill me" on your shirt.
Yeah. But also, but also, you know, keeping an eye out for anyone that actually might want to murder me, so that I can cast some spells on them as they get too close.
Okay.
You know, it's too bad we don't have a costume for you, like a cleric of Ilmater. They would love that. god of suffering and sacrifice and flagellation.
All right. Odd and Milo, what are you guys doing?
Who's me? Oh.
Oh, that's me. Over here. That's me.
I have my hood up, and I guess I'm walking over here with Lolo for right now. And what are we doing exactly? What was Lolo doing? Are we pretending like we're recruiting for cult members out here?
Well, so that's one of the things that I was thinking was we could be taking our time strolling together and then split up because we'll be able to continue communicating anyway. And one of us can loiter over here. If you're more persuasive, maybe that would be better if that's you. And I can eventually, when I get around to it, turn and start going up this way, chat to some people, come back around. Like, I'm just going to be moving.
And Chester, so as the evening begins to fall, and like if the streets start clearing out and we're getting closer to the point where probably I'm gonna get stabbed, I'm gonna change the tune I'm humming like a few bars so that it becomes the somatic and verbal components to Blade Ward just over and over again, so that I can give myself resistance to piercing, bludgeoning, slashing damage.
And I'm going to be not on the rooftop there, but I'm going to be circling about overhead.
So you're actually flying about overhead?
I'm going to be flying about because I'm keeping an eye on rooftops.
Okay. I would like perception check from you.
Yeah, that's not good.
If you'd prefer investigation, I will allow it.
Yeah, that's worse.
Yep, you are correct. You don't see anything.
You don't want to see shit. You don't even see the roof.
Let's see here. Where are people?
Are we planning or are we doing it now?
I think we're doing it now.
Are we doing it now? Okay, because then we'd be moving.
Yeah.
Okay. So should we just kind of...
Sure, just do little bits here and there, because if I just suddenly see something and I yell stop, whatever.
Okay.
We're just like trying to find that trap.
Go back to you.
Anybody have fairy fire?
Hold up. I forget if I took that or not. I think I did, because I
Who is
usually do.
that? Who crossed in
It's
front
super
of me?
useful.
Oh, that's me.
Didn't.
Okay.
First time for everything.
Since I'm trying to like find
you got
homeless.
a drink, lady?
No, I'm good.
You hear about this shit? Damn people are always trampling. Oh, you're not paying attention. Okay.
And give me a stop. Who is that?
That is me. That is Davari.
Okay.
And me next to her.
All right. Yeah, you snuck in there right as I started saying stop.
Sorry, can we get it back up?
I would like perception checks from both of you.
All right. Passive is 15.
I didn't mean passive. I meant actual perception checks.
Okay.
Where's
Nope, I got distracted by a tiny child who has a skinned knee, and I lean down and I start patching up his tiny little knee.
All right.
Letting him know that if they come to St. Trinian's, that he will have a full belly, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm totally distracted by this child.
And I'm distracted, rolling my eyes really hard at her whole act thing because it's but Lolo's just like. Oh.
It would be worse if it was actually an act. Like,
no, exactly. It's that you mean it. She's like, oh God. She is.
So yeah, neither of you saw anything.
Sure didn't.
Nope.
Oh man.
It's already really good.
Yep. Nope. Just ruffle the kid's head, straighten back up, crack my neck, and look down the hallway and start wandering a little bit this way.
I'm gonna take a break. Let's sit on this box for a minute.
Becca, you can give me another investigation check now.
Perception or investigation?
Whichever. I'll take either because you guys are actively searching.
22.
Okay. You're pretty convinced that that person ahead of you that looked like they were pulling things out of a barrel is no longer moving. Like they're bent over in the barrel, like that they were previously pulling things out of, and now they're just there.
All right, I will go ahead and walk up to him and pull him out of the barrel if it looks like there's liquid in the barrel.
So as you pull them out, you reveal that there is a dagger stabbed like right underneath the soft spot here.
All right, can I go ahead and cast Spare the Dying on them as I pull the dagger out?
Sure. What does Spare the Dying do?
So it stabilizes them. It is a cantrip. I do have to be touching them.
Okay.
The creature becomes stable. This spell has no effect on undead or constructs.
What
But
the-
they do have to be living still. Like it dropped down to 0 health points, but technically still alive.
Yeah, they are not still alive.
Okay, well, darn. I don't have anything else for this.
Ba-da-ba.
Hey, Strauss!
Huh?
Hey, Strauss!
Strauss drops it as soon as he starts using his real name.
Do you
Yeah.
got anything for dead bodies? I think we're already too late.
That's not really my expertise. Hey, Lolo. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm right here, dead body. What? What's up?
And I was just kind of like, I've got this poor person kind of by the shoulders, and I'm just kind of like propping them up and go, can you do anything about this? I didn't see what did this.
Strauss
The
is going to
question is,
point
what
at
do
the
you mean by
knife
doing
and be
anything
like, I'm
about
pretty sure that did this.
Sure, that knife sticking out the front of his chest did that.
Yeah, pretty sure the knife did, but I mean, I didn't see who did this. Can anyone, I don't know, talk with the dead or something?
That's kind of
Because
out of my...
I'm pretty sure we've already missed the time window to actually stop whatever was happening.
I think...
Can I see that knife?
Sure, here you go.
I want to investigate and I want to check out the knife.
So do I.
See if I notice anything about it cult-wise, religious-wise.
There is, in fact, a symbol on the handle.
Do I know it?
Would you like to roll for it?
Would you like me to roll for it?
I would. And I'd also like a perception roll from Travis, please.
I got 15.
I got a 13.
Okay. Yeah, it's not a very hard symbol to recognize anyway. It is definitely a ball. Symbol of ball is on there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, balls. Oh.
Damn it. I was waiting and you said it first. You God damn it. Stealing my shitty joke. Okay. Well,
so Decimus, really quickly,
okay.
you actually just saw from this crest back here. Do you see where are you zoomed out enough to see that? Yeah. Now it's not ringing. Yeah, there.
Mm-hmm.
Were you zoomed out enough to see that, Travis? I don't have you up. I don't hear you. No.
Yes.
There you are. Okay. So you just caught out of the corner of your eye something moving from that side of the road to the other on the rooftop level. Is what you caught there. Odd. You know what? Sure. I will say that you do in fact still see a yes.
All right. Yeah. And if I see somebody, I'll just go right up to wherever it is that nobody else can see. I'll be like, oh, hello. You're dead.
Hey, Lolo. Odd's talking to the barrel.
That's probably something else by the barrel, but I'll walk over and check it out.
All right. I'll prop the body up against the wall, and I am going to look around trying to figure out, like, a path, a direction of whoever killed this poor person, where they might have gone.
So, as you can see, the buildings get super tight back there.
Mm-hmm.
So, odds are they either went into one of those buildings or up.
Is there a ladder or something nearby?
A conventional ladder? No. Are there enough handholds that you feel pretty confident that someone who can climb could probably get up there. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna attempt to climb on top of the roof to try to find whoever killed this guy.
Okay, roll for it.
Athletics.
Yes.
Hopefully, I don't fall on my face.
Hey Terry. Sorry, you were just down here, right?
Yes.
Go ahead, go back there and roll me a perception check real quick. Okay, you didn't see anything. Decimus, were you doing anything with the movement you thought you saw?
Yeah, I am flying over there.
To where the movement was?
To where yes.
Okay, so that was back here from that to here. And if you want to roll an investigation check, you may.
I will do that. Not well.
No, not well at all.
Is there anyone over there?
Not anymore.
I'm going to head this way and kind of be looking down those steep alleys.
Okay. Back up here to the top. What's going on with y'all? Becky, you said you
Strauss
climbed to the
is
roof?
going to also
Yeah,
try to get
I
up to the
rolled
roof,
I rolled a 13, so I'm
Okay.
attempting
Yep.
to climb.
and
There are
I
plenty
rolled
of handholds to get to the roof.
and I rolled a 14. So I'm gonna
You
follow
can also
after.
get to the roof. Yep.
I'm on the roof.
You are on the roof.
Do I see anything?
Let me see if it looks like you would have an unobstructed view. You would not from there. However, so this roof here, directly south of you,
Mm-hmm.
is a two-story building, whereas you are on the roof of a one-story building.
All right.
Which you
I-
could just walk across the roofs and get there.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna attempt to climb that.
Okay. You can just walk right up that. I mean, they're not.
All right.
It's nice and slatey.
Okay, I'm
So
gonna
once you're up there, if you would like to roll another perception check, you may.
Yeah, that would be good.
Is anybody else back here following those two up onto the roof, or are you just standing around the dead body?
I'm still talking to the spirit.
Okay.
It's really lovely up here.
Strauss is looking at the stars.
I've never. It's really rare to be able to see stars in this city.
Okay, so for odd, you said that it actually allows you to communicate with the spirits that you see.
Yeah, I'm just communicating. It doesn't always mean that I'm actually communicating with the spirit. That's
Okay. So the spirit looks like it was still in the activity that it was doing when it died. So it's like going through the motions of picking things up from the barrel and pulling them out still.
all right.
Obviously, nothing is in its hands. When you speak to it, it kind of stops and looks at you confusedly.
I will point at the body.
Okay. And it looks down and like shock registers, and it kind of like takes a step back and like drops whatever it had in its hands that it didn't really have in its hands anymore. Like it just drops it.
Yeah, it's like
It kind of is looking down at you, and then like it actually kind of starting to like float a little bit up, but not straight up, like kind of at like weird zero gravity angles, because it now realizes that it is dead.
Like, do you remember what happened? Do you remember who you saw?
It's going like this, and it says, and it's like floating up into.
Yeah, I just look at Lolo. I'm like, this is not going well.
Is it not telling you what happens?
He's floating away. He didn't know he was dead.
Who's that who just snuck up behind us?
That's Terry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. That's
Since it was a
Milo.
Milo. That's the name.
just because it was different. It was an
All
NPC
right.
stuff.
So we had a perception check from Strauss that did not go well.
Tavares was 22.
Davari had a 22?
Yep.
Oh, cool. So, Davari, you actually see something indeed.
Ooh, yay.
Indeed, you
You
do.
see across the way,
This guy?
yes, he is presently like hiding kind of behind that chimney. I just turned him. Like he's standing at the edge of the chimney and looking down there. Not looking at you at all. He is definitely looking at down here at the street about there.
All right. Can I see what he's looking at down on the street level?
The only thing that you can see down there is this vendor over here that's still open for the evening, and a patron who is at that vendor. Otherwise, it's just a dark street with nobody on it. I mean, there's like lanterns here and there.
All right. In this case, I am actually going to yell out for Decimus and kind of point across the roof and go, "What the hell is that guy doing?"
And you're yelling?
I am yelling for Decimus specifically. I'm going to call out Wing Boy. Yeah. And say, "What the hell is that guy doing?"
When she does that, Strauss will look at where she's pointing and be like, kind of squint a little bit, put on his glasses, and be like, "Okay, I think I see something. What are you talking about?"
There's that guy crouching over there on the
Are you
roof.
sure? Like, how far away? Like 75 feet or so? I think I see a shadow.
You really need to get your eyes checked again. Anyhow, Decimus! Wing Boy! Flappy Boy!
At that, I will go ahead and cast sleep on where she's pointing at.
Okay. So
Can Decimus see what she's pointing at?
we'll probably roll some initiative then.
Okay.
Woo!
Lovely.
This is gonna be great.
It is.
Yes, I have a negative initiative.
That means you go first, right?
I haven't rolled mine yet. You never know. So 17. Is 5. Strauss is 18. There you go. Strauss beat you at the very least. Yeah. Davari is 10.
It's not a race.
Lolo is 13. And Decimus is 4. Decimus, you're having some great rolls tonight.
Yep, and Davari is 10.
All right. What was his initiative? We're just going to go off. I got to get my selector back. Ah, it's stuck in my head. All right. We're just going to go by his initiative for the other two as well. They will go on turn 12. Right in the middle. Me. Okay. So, Strauss, you were up first in the grand scheme of things.
Squinting, pointing at the shadow on the roof. Sleep.
Okay.
22.
And that's a.
Yeah, it's just if he has if his hit points is 22 or less, he's asleep. Otherwise, he's asleep.
Oh, so no save throw at all, just hit points?
Yeah, just hit points.
Okay. Then he is, in fact, asleep.
Does he roll
You
off
see-
the roof?
You see that guy just collapse to the roof and actually probably slide to there before the textures kind of get a grip on him. He doesn't actually fall the whole way to the street.
And then Strauss will use his movement.
I can't hear you, Scott.
Sorry.
Oh, wait. Oh, God, that was weird. Sorry.
A delay again.
Strauss will move his movement to the edge of the building and kind of look down.
Okay.
That's the turn.
That takes us to Milo.
So all I know is somebody whistled, and then somebody climbed the roof. That's all I really know. So I'm just gonna move back the way
Somebody
I came.
just you probably heard the yelling.
Okay, so then hopefully I'll just dash in the direction, then just so I can make heads or tails what's going on. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
Dash away.
And Strauss probably singing a lullaby. Go to sleep, little lamb.
Okay. So that takes us to Lolo.
So I mean, I started running when I heard Wind Boy. When I heard Davari yelling. So I see Strauss coming towards the edge of the roof, singing a lullaby. Because I could, right? Because I'm assuming he's right here, so I see that.
Yeah, if he's actually on the edge of the roof, you would totally see him.
So I'm like,
Unless he's trying to hide.
Since we've been doing this for a year, I'll assume this is not a new tactic, so I'll yell which way as I'm coming towards the intersection.
I mean, he's casting kind of in a direction, so it's like he's not going to be able to point. But...
I can't hear you, sorry.
Sorry, he's not going to be able to point, but he is casting in a specific direction. And
would I be able to tell which way that is?
I would imagine so. And he did slide, so you probably heard a thump.
So I heard a thunk this way. Got it. I'll let Odd know telepathically too where we're at. And that's it. I took my dash.
Okay.
Go. And Forge.
And that brings us to me.
Okay.
I need perception checks from Strauss and from Davari and from Lolo.
Yeah, Strauss really needs to get his prescription check.
You're focusing on the sleeper, that's all. And Decimus, how high are you?
I was assuming about 60 feet up above the rooftop.
Then I will take one from you as well, please.
I would like to point out my one good roll probably for the week. I want everyone to see that pretty great number. That's the only time that's happening this week.
I got clouds in my eyes.
Yeah, Decimus, you remain totally clueless. Strauss, you're focused on the sleeper. Lolo and Davari see because motion is happening.
Yay. I see things.
Over here on the other side of the vendor, a cloaked figure appears and grabs that woman who was shopping from behind with a hand over her mouth.
Okay.
Kind of like this from behind, and is starting to pull her in that direction, away.
No.
And
I go that way instead.
here, this one here. Oh, you don't see him.
Push him. Ah.
He's super quiet. Okay, and then that brings us to Davari's turn.
All right, so let me go.
Hit the hostage! Hit the hostage!
I'm a dissonant whisper.
Should be able to get there. Not close enough. I am going to
Shoot the hostage!
Dissonant whispers. Dissonant whispers.
I don't have dissonant
I
whispers.
I do.
I do.
You guys do that. I am going to have to try to climb down and yell out. I'm going to try to climb down the building, and I'm going to use my action to dash. I am going to call out, "Don't you dare stab that woman." So can I safely get down the building, and do I have any movement if
And dash? I mean, you're on top of a 2-story building right now.
All right, so it's going to take my action to try to climb down, right?
Yeah, if you want to climb safely, you're definitely using an action.
All right, I will.
If you just want to jump, whatever.
No, I don't have that many health points. I'm a little level 1. I will go ahead and safely climb down, and I will call out, "Don't stab that woman." She
There's
hasn't.
a lot of open options for murder via other means. I'm saying.
Especially since he's got a mace, but whatever.
Yep,
He's
so
really confused. He's like,
Yeah, so that's going to be my turn because I wasn't close enough to do Toll the Dead.
Okay.
As soon as I can, I'm casting at him. Just putting that out there. I'm readying Dissonant Whispers.
Dissonant Whispers for the win!
Now that I have it.
That brings us to Odd.
All right. After getting that message from Lolo, I'm going to move my 30 feet over here. And then I'm going to dash over here. And that's it.
Okay. Then we are on Decimus.
Decimus is going to wing over this way. Gonna see where everybody's. Do I see where the commotion is?
You definitely see the commotion on the street. If you want to see the unconscious dude on the roof, you'll have to roll for that because it is dark up there.
This is where I'm seeing commotion on the street.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's
I'm
what
going
everyone's moving towards.
I'm just gonna dash action over there. So 5, 10, 20, 25, 30. So
What's your passive perception?
like 10.
I will say you probably see the unconscious person laying on the rooftop
Okay. Well, I'll come back to that person.
now that you're that close. Well, you haven't actually gotten as far as him because he's over here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's the limit of my movement. So
Okay. So that brings us back to Strauss.
Okay. Strauss is going to go 5, 10, 15, and he's going to. Actually, not that way. He's going to go 5, 10, 15 onto this roof. And then he's going to go. Sometimes I hate my life. Jump off the roof.
Nice. Acrobatics check to mitigate damage.
Uh-huh.
It's only 10 feet of damage, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's only a d6. At least he went to the...
Yeah, you're taking that 10 feet of damage.
Yeah, I'm rolling it now. Don't worry, guys.
Drop in front of me. Don't.
Superhero Strauss.
15, 20,
Superhero landing.
25.
Oh, my knee!
Oh,
I am an old guy.
Old man down. Old man down.
Someone get his walker.
And dash. 30, and then I am going to be like, ow, 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 ow. Oh, Lola, you got this. You got this. And I'll bonus action and give her inspiration.
Who are you giving inspiration?
Lola.
Lola.
Lolo, sorry.
Lolo.
Lolo.
Lola.
Okay.
Not
So that's a
Lola.
D6.
Lolo.
There's a lot of lows going on. You guys are evil.
what about Layla?
No,
That brings us to Lolo.
what's that?
Or no, sorry, Milo.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I apologize. Milo's up.
It's all about the lows.
Right.
So I'm just going to dash my way over there and I'm probably not going to do anything else.
Huh? What happened?
I'm just moving because I can't do anything else.
Oh, okay.
Because she was so far away.
Mm-mm.
Okay. That brings us now to Lolo.
Now it's my turn. Yeah, since I can and dude's in range, actually. No, I think I would be using it wrong. So no. Yeah, I will use Dissonant Whispers against Bro as I'm running at them.
Okay. So what does that mean I need to do?
Wisdom save.
Wisdom save? Alright,
Yeah,
let's see
Wisdom saving throw.
let's see what he's got here.
I feel dizzy.
Nice. He's got advantage. Gotta love that.
That's dumb. He shouldn't have advantage. Shenanigans.
Oh,
Four,
he shakes off your dissonant whispers.
Shenanigans.
4 points of psychic damage,
Shenanigans, tactical discipline.
What was that, Scott?
Still takes 4 points of psychic damage. Better than my turn of wounding myself.
Is there any half for making it, or is he just completely shake it off?
Half for making he gets half as much damage for making it.
Okay, so he's still taking 4 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
Go.
Boom.
I'm not a super big fan of this sheet. It's making this difficult for me.
That's why I just put in there so Chester has the information that for some reason I can't play, but I am still using D&D Beyond.
I'm out of slots for D&D.
I actually now need quick perception checks from anyone who can see the unconscious guy on the roof from where they are at still. So probably Decimus. And if everyone else is watching the commotion in the street, they're probably not watching the guy up top anymore.
So just Decimus?
Yeah, it looks like it.
It hasn't been the minute yet, has it?
Don't. Don't.
No. I'm not saying anything.
Right.
I'm not. I was wondering if I had lost track of things.
they're not. I think
So Decimus, what you see is somehow that body starts sliding up this way, but it is still asleep when it starts sliding. But the physical abrasion of being slid up towards that chimney again is waking it up.
That's so
That
good.
is
Yeah.
not a
You
pleasant
want to get
experience.
the tiling?
Yeah, I'm sure that was not a very pleasant experience on his unconscious face.
Yeah. It's like getting cheese grated.
Right? All right. And so that's him, and the Bay Knight down here actually throws the hostage to the side.
Well,
Whoa, what are you doing?
I wasn't done.
What?
I had only moved to 30 feet, and I had taken
Oh my gosh.
time to determine if I had a bonus action spell, which I can't because this sheet sucks.
Okay.
Anyway,
She is stuck.
this sheet is poo-poo.
You need to learn how to use it
I
better.
would
That's
just
all.
keep running and engage him.
Okay.
That's it.
So you're just standing there with your weapon out?
Now I'm done, yes.
Okay. Well then, the stuff that already happened, and he actually releases the hostage to turn to face you.
Okay.
And let's see what his rolls look like here. Where is?
Is he gonna stab me?
Oh, there it is. He has a mace out. He's going to try and hit you with his mace.
Damn, my blade ward expired. That's
No.
See, like, was that? Is blade ward a...
You're lucky that an ability check is not. An attack is not an ability check. No advantage for him. So, in throwing the hostage aside, he takes a violent swing at you, but he's off balance from throwing the hostage aside in taking that swing. And yep, that's all you guys see. Davari.
Okay. Oh, he took a mace out for my girl Lolo. He's going down. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. From here, I am within range. Davari snaps her finger and actually says out, "Bad boy," and you hear this resounding crescendo like someone hit a gong around you, Lolo.
Okay.
And I need him to make a wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom saving throw. Let's see
Yeah.
here. I think someone just said, yep. +1 with advantage.
With advantage. Oh, yeah, he totally fails. All right, he's going to take 1d8.
1d12, he's taking damage.
Oh, sorry, 1d12 because he's taken damage of 2 points.
That's the joy of that d12. You're like, yeah, 1d12, and then it's like Ones and twos all the time.
So 2 damage.
Yep, 2 damage as the gong sound surrounds him.
So he reacts from the sound like ah, but
30
does
feet.
not appear to be so heavily affected from your magic gong.
Now that was a cantrip, so I should still be able to use my bonus action to cast Sanctuary on Lolo. All right, so I ward Lolo until the spell ends. Any creature who targets her with an attack or harmful spell must first make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, the creature must choose a new target or lose the attack or spell. The spell doesn't protect the warded creature from area effects such as explosion or firewall. If the warded creature makes an attack, casts a spell that affects an enemy, or deals damage to another creature, the spell ends. But either way, for the moment, if anyone attacks you, they're going to have to do a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Okay. Then that brings us to Odd.
All right. Move down here. Then I'm going to dash over here to see what's going on.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right. That brings us to Decimus. And you can, roll an investigation check if you'd like to follow up on that movement on the roof, or if you want to focus on the ground, go focus on the ground.
Oh, I thought that was just perceptional. Did I see him with the perceptional?
You saw the guy on the roof sliding upwards, and you imagine that's going to wake him up.
Okay. Well, I would like to pin him to the roof, so I'm going to swoop down on him.
Okay. This would please Tempest. Nice. Well, he is quite prone, so yeah. He's going to take your 5 damage.
He's going to like it.
All right. Anything else from you?
I will just battle cry in his face. Can I intimidate him, or is that a separate action?
Can you what?
Can I attempt to intimidate him, or is that a separate action?
I'm fairly certain that using of the skill is considered an action.
All right. Well, I will still, swoop out of the night, big wings, and I'll kind of roar in his face. So.
Okay. You have roared in this barely awake man's face. And that brings us to the top with Strauss.
Strauss, 5, 10, 15, 20.
And you probably just heard Decimus wake up the guy that you sang to sleep.
Yeah. That's all good. You go look at you. You have violated the laws of Baldur's Gate. With the authority of the Flaming Fist, I command you to freeze. And I will cast Ray of Frost at it.
Did we not learn our lesson?
Well, apparently I'm
Literally.
missed. So
At least this time it's intentional on his part.
That's true.
He probably is really
I know.
upset because he didn't.
It's actually really good that you didn't critical fail, because I might have made you hit the hostage just for funsies.
yeah, I will go ahead and be like, I'm not very good at Can I actually see Decimus from where my position is?
You probably, if you want to say that's how you missed your spell because you were distracted by him swooping down with a battle cry.
Well, I
I'll
just
allow
wanted to
you to
be, because if I could see Decimus, I wanted to be like, Decimus, make sure you keep them alive, and I will give him a bardic inspiration as well.
Okay. You are inspired, Decimus.
Yeah. I'll open my window.
And that brings us to Milo.
Hello. I'm just gonna move over and go close to Strauss and try to figure out what's going on. And I'll be done.
Okay. That brings us to Lolo.
I want to do this cool thing that I have, Arms of Hadar, but I don't. If it's everyone within 10 feet, would that hit the lady?
Depends where you center the spell.
What's around her?
I guess I could do it here, and then it only hits the guy, right? Or wait, hold on. I think it's from me.
Self.
This is the spell. Oh, well, I definitely want to do it now.
All creatures within 10 feet of you.
So
Yeah,
can
it's
I
on
go
self.
here and do it, and it not hit her? 5, 10.
She's still within 10.
Can I push her away first? Or
I
no?
mean, that would be your action to push her away.
Can we step into this little black area that's probably still more road that we just don't see?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Okay,
That would
then
then provoke an attack of opportunity.
that's
You will
fine.
take an attack of opportunity, absolutely.
That's fine, sure. But I still do this.
Unless you get dropped.
No, because I have bardic inspiration.
Oh no!
And
Does a
that,
24 hit you?
I mean, obviously, but hold on. I forget. Yes, it does.
All right.
What was the thing Becca did again? That was
Yes, it'd make a wisdom
Blade
saving
Lord.
throw.
Yeah, he has to make a
attack, he has
wisdom
to-
saving throw.
So he has to make the wisdom saving throw before he can attack.
Yep.
Okay. That's the first one. Here comes advantage.
Okay.
So the 21 beats her DC on that, right?
I'm assuming.
Yeah. Okay, so he attacked you, and he
Yeah.
hit you for 6.
Okay, cool. I'm still continuing and doing my thing.
Okay, do your
Now-
thing.
I did my thing. So I invoke the power of Hadar, the Dark Hunger. Tendrils of dark energy erupt from me and batter everyone within 10 feet. He has to make a strength saving throw.
Gotcha. Let's see what he's got here for that. Yay, look at that. It's his best save with advantage.
I know. But I wanted to do it because it's
First one, second one. So he beats you with the 20.
Yes, he did. So he still takes half damage, but suffers no other effects. So he still takes, what, 9 if we're rounding down?
Okay.
Yeah, he did the saving throw. He beat it. That was the 21.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thanks. I was just gone, so I was just wondering.
Yep.
No worries.
All right. Oh, sorry. You done? Keep going.
And I think I bonus action release. No, wrong character. Never mind. Yeah, ignore me.
We've got so many characters.
I know. God.
All right, so you're done?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So that gives us to me. All right. So the necromite up here on the roof is actually going to react to the guy who just stabbed him violently with a sword. He's not going to take that very well. So you will be getting roll 1d20 plus 5. Does a 21 hit?
Yes.
So from his curled, clawed fingers erupts a blast of very cold purple energy, which leeches at your soul when it impacts against your chest. You take 9 points of necrotic energy.
Okay.
And then this guy, who you missed because he was the one pulling him, steps forth from the shadows. And he has a very wicked looking dagger in his hand
I smite it.
that he completely misses you with.
That's because I smote it.
Does he stab his buddy?
What's that? No, he does
No.
not stab his buddy. Please don't ever
Great, though. What if he does
All right.
But that would
And,
please Ball. Like,
OOC, Travis.
Yeah.
You presently have a vulnerability to piercing damage unless you have resistance or immunity to such damage.
I do not.
ooh.
Okay. And the hostage lady is making a run for it.
Good.
20,
Run, woman, run!
40.
Get out of my way. You're the reason I got hit. Dumbass.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Get out of here.
She is
Yeah.
running for it.
Good.
And that brings us to. Oh, I forgot this guy down here. He has to continue rolling to hit you, correct? Like that wasn't a once and done with the sanctuary?
No, because she tried to cast a spell on him.
Yeah, it faded
Okay.
as soon as she attacked or cast a spell. It was just to try to protect her long enough for someone else to get close, to give her some backup.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna die.
Either way, he's busy dodging your shadowy arms of Hadar or whatever it was called, and he does not, in fact, hit you even closely, which seems to piss him off immensely.
Good.
Right? And that brings us to Davari.
All right.
My reaction, Hellish Rebuke, because fuck him. Okay, get out of here.
Closer, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Let's see. How is Davari looking? Just for situational awareness.
How is who looking?
Not Davari, but Lolo.
Oh, real fucking bad. That mace like caught me in the ribs, and they're cracked. And,
All
like,
right.
yeah,
I
I'm
will
gonna-
be able to do something about that very soon.
I am what we call ouchied.
I need to double check a feature.
Am I ever not going to be a flesh wall? This isn't the right character for it.
I was wondering what I was like. Oh my goodness!
I have an instinct, and it's either sniper or wall.
All right.
Aren't you a warlock? Why, like
He's a
sniper?
sorcerer.
Mhm.
Oh, you're a sorcerer. Okay, yeah,
I don't
sniper,
know.
sniper.
Y'all were too slow.
All right, so I'm gonna do Toll the Dead again. That is my action, so I need him to make a Wisdom saving throw.
16.
Oh yeah, he makes it. Bonus action. Unfortunately, I'm gonna hold my bonus action to heal you until you actually go to 0.
Super fine. Do not worry about it.
All right, so that is my turn currently.
Okay. Brings us to Odd.
All right, I'm going to move up a little bit, and seeing what Strauss did, I'm going to cast Chill Touch on him. $19.
That is a hit.
3 points of damage. As a glowing hand just grips him on the shoulder.
How dare.
So everyone who's looking at him actually sees where that hand touches, like frost just like tears into him, and you see him kind of arch his back in pain from that unexpected assault from behind, but he is still on his feet.
Okay. Good to know.
That brings us to Decimus, who is now quite outnumbered.
Only momentarily. So, the guy with the claws and the death magic, what is he?
What do you mean?
Is he just a guy? Is he a tiefling like us? What is he?
We could roll a perception check or an investigation check if you'd like to get a good look at him. He's wearing a hood.
Oh, okay. The guy
He's
with
just
the
a
hood.
guy. He's just a guy talking to another guy on the roof.
All right. Well, I want to grab his shoulder and chuck it. Or actually, I'm just gonna I want to roll athletics to throw him off the roof. How
Okay.
about that?
Go
I
for
will
the
shield bash him in the side of the head. How about that? There we go.
cool.
Let's try that. Let's see. Not so good.
You could. Well, no, never mind. You already rolled.
Let's see here.
You could actually use the bardic inspiration I gave you to add a d6 to that.
You could
Yeah.
before I roll.
Yes.
Do that.
Do it.
6.
Fingers crossed. 6.
4.
That's pretty good.
You beat his own athletics check.
Yeah.
I will allow it.
And I will beat him with my shield.
Are you like doing it in a way to try and knock him down the roof?
Yeah, I want to toss him off the roof, basically.
Okay.
This poor guy is getting cheese grated.
You know what? I'm even just gonna go ahead and Roll some falling damage. How did that turn into? Oh, because I did 1d20.
I accept that roll still.
Yeah, I accept that roll.
Yeah.
Failure.
So he goes sliding and tumbling down the roof and like lands hard on the ground. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and multiply it by 2 because of my misroll just to make you guys feel better about yourselves.
Thank you.
Aw, thank
Aw.
He
you.
hits hard and he slid down that roof the whole way.
Who described it as a cheese grater earlier?
Right?
Yeah.
That was great.
Strauss, you're up.
Stop it.
I'm just going to I was about to do something to this guy labeled Fist of Bane, but I see this thing, and so like my disruption gets he falls to the ground prone and is like release the dissonant whispers on the guy that just fell.
So that's a wisdom save, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see for him. That's just a 20.
I rolled like shit. So
he actually,
3 damage.
because he rolled a natural 20, he's like pushing himself. He's not actually up this turn, but he's like starting to push himself up, and he just locks eyes with you as that spell just like fizzles, and he knows exactly where that.
I did it.
Yeah, I did it.
This poor impotent old professor.
All right, Milo.
Glug, 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 glug.
Moving over and attack the guy with my great axe before he gets up.
Okay, do it.
They're prone, so he has advantage too.
Yep, he hit prone. You hit
13.
13 damage.
Yeah.
You may describe this thing's very gruesome death.
I think it's because it's looking at Strauss. So I'm going to use my axe and go vertically so it goes through.
Nice.
And then wipe off the blood on its clothing.
So that thing is quite deceased.
And then I'm going to try to drag it as far as I can out of the way over here if I have anything.
Okay. That brings us to Lolo.
Since this guy did not respond well to that chill touch earlier, I'm gonna. Can I? Since I'm right in front of him and I want a ray of frost, I'm right there. Can I just like put it on his chest?
Yeah.
Oh, advantage or something. I do get to. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter. I won't use the bardic inspiration then, because I'm assuming the 23 hits.
Yeah, you would be very right. A 23 does hit.
Okay.
Let's see what he's got here left for health. Oh, and look at that. You may describe his death.
From where my palm touches him, and you were talking about how he it bloomed almost the ice. That spreads on his whole body, and as I pull my hand back, it shatters and he collapses. He breaks into
Dang,
cubes.
bunch of murder hobos aren't feeling very guilty tonight after all, are they?
Oh, he started it.
Yep, you were
They
deputized.
definitely
It's
started
cool.
it.
I
Yep,
have a badge that lets me murder indiscriminately.
it does. Okay, so that brings me to the Nightblade, who is still facing off against Decimus on the roof.
In our defense, they were trying to take out innocent NPCs that were selling goods.
Travis, I'm assuming a 24 hits with this critical over here.
Jeez.
That is a good assumption.
Let's see. So that's 1d4 plus 2. 4 plus 2. And then that just. On the bright side, I rolled low. And then that just. Crap. I rolled twice. Don't multiply, right?
Yeah, you roll.
That's addition.
Yeah, you roll an additional d4.
All right. So you're taking 8 points of damage from a very wicked stab that slides between your ribs.
Decimus is going to grab his ribs in slow motion drama and drop his sword and collapse to his knees.
Wow.
Oh,
Did you just hit 0?
Yeah, I'm at 0.
Uh-oh.
Chester, it's the first session.
It's
Stop cheating and rolling crits all the time.
The flyer went off alone.
Stop it.
Not alone. I'm like 20 feet away.
And up.
You're alone.
On the roof. Okay, well, that brings us to Davari.
Did I hear Decimus fall?
Well, I mean, he didn't actually. I mean, he just said he hit his knees. Did you actually fall, Decimus, or are you still like on your knees, somehow balanced?
I mean, I'm at the top of the cheese grater, so it's up to you if I fall or
Yeah.
not.
I will say you may roll a. What's your passive perception?
Passive perception is 15.
I will just say you caught a glimpse of him dropping to his knees and heard it at the same time.
My
Alright.
my sword probably is clattering to the street.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
And in this instance, Lolo has already taken out the guy in front of her.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
he has shattered.
All right. So I'm just going to curse and then climb up this building, if you will allow it.
Sure, that's your action.
Actually, no,
Doesn't allow
instead,
cursing.
I just realized I could do something else. I instead am just going to go healing word up towards Decimus and tell him, "Get up, you asshole!" And
Get up, wing boy.
get up, wing boy, you asshole! And
Wing boy, no.
that's just not going to work. Okay, fine. I've been
He's
typing.
lucky you didn't step behind that chimney, huh, Travis?
Yeah.
Or you're lucky, perhaps.
D4
Could
plus
have had a cool
6.
name like Nightwing or Bad Boy, but no, it's Wing Boy.
Wing boy.
That's
With an
right.
I. With B-O-I, not even a Y.
Even with a rolling a natural 1, you still heal 7 points. And that's my bonus action. Is there anyone else on the ground or that I can see?
I'm missing 4 HP. My knee hurts a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have something for that. I already used my 2 first level spell slots. But are there any other combatants that I can see that I could do anything with?
Well, whoever is beating up on Wing Boy up there is the only one left.
All right, then I will use my action to toll the dead. And I need him to make a wisdom saving throw. That's my wing boy, damn it!
So you said a wisdom saving throw?
Yes. Only I'm supposed to beat up on him.
Let's see, what does this guy have for that? Nothing. So that's a 14.
That still makes it. But Decimus heals 7 points. That's the end of my turn.
Okay. That brings us to Odd.
My turn.
It is your turn.
If I step up on this barrel thingy right here, can I see this guy?
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, you've got your friend kneeling in front of him, but yeah.
Well, I'm going to use
Next to the roof, that's the high ground.
Mind Sliver on him. So it's a intelligence saving throw.
All right, let's see what he's got for that. Breaking all these new save throws that I don't know what he has yet. +0. All right.
He
He rolled an 18.
Damn.
Any side effects from that?
No.
Okay.
One of these.
That brings us to Decimus.
Decimus is going to, as I've dropped my sword, I am going to try to grapple him and fly upward.
Don't try it, Anakin. He has the high ground.
Well, that's why I'm grabbing his leg.
Okay. Roll your athletics check. Ooh. Let's see here. What does he have? Oh, he sidesteps your lunge.
Okay. Well, I still fly upward 30 feet.
I'm flying without him.
Fly into the night,
As
wing
soon as
boy.
you get past the 5 feet range, your vulnerability to piercing expires.
I assume he also gets an opportunity attack.
Ooh, that's a very valid point. The GM would have forgotten. See what honesty gets you?
Yeah.
I'm a stickler for getting myself killed. Come on.
He's
Does an 11 hit you?
Negative.
All right, he fails his opportunity attack. Any other actions from you?
Nope. I'm all out of actions.
All right, Strauss, you're up.
Does anyone obey in the law of this town? I said freeze, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to Ray of Frost this guy. And probably fail because so far I've been rolling like shit. 14 to hit.
I think that's a miss. Let me look. Oh, nope, that's a hit.
So 2 points of gold damage, and his speed is reduced by 10.
Very well.
And then I am going to be muttering to myself, and who's this beside me?
me. It's odd.
Odd. I'm too old for this shit. You take care of this, and I'll give you my last bardic inspiration.
Okay. That brings us to Mildo.
I'm just gonna try to figure out what's going on because I don't really know. I'm more worried about getting the stuff off the body / getting rid of the body from what they taught me last time. So that's what I'm focused on / bringing the body to the area here so we can hide it a little better.
Okay. That brings us to Lolo.
From where I am, can I see the guy?
Definitely not.
But I see where everyone is directing their agita.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm gonna have to try and climb. Can I climb first onto this little booth and then onto the roof so that I'm less likely to hurt myself?
Well, that's not so much a roof as it is a cloth, but you know.
Well, like the wood post, I'll balance and like use it to support myself on my way up.
You know, roll your athletics check.
Oh, okay. Wait,
He's trying to do this Assassin's Creed style.
see. Oh, it doesn't have to be athletics. Can it be acrobatics and like, stabilizing on the posts and?
Tell you what, if you fail and start to fall, I'll let you roll acrobatics to mitigate falling damage.
Okay. Can I add my bardic inspiration to this?
If you'd like to.
Well, when you say it that way,
It's your bardic inspiration to use or not.
fine. I'll use it.
Okay. You successfully reached that roof.
Yay! I'm on the roof now. How much of my turn's left? Any of it?
Well, that was your action. So you still have a move and a bonus action if you have anything.
This square, is that recessed or elevated?
Which one?
This thingy here.
That one there.
Mhm.
That one looks like a recess.
How deep would you... Can I hide in it?
Sure.
All right, I want to do that because
Okay.
I spell. So I'm just gonna duck in there and
Okay.
be ready to do something else.
Okay. That brings us to me. Let's see. Oh, he can't reach you anymore. You said you flew 60 feet up, right?
Yes.
All right. Sorry. 1, 10, 15, 20, 25. Did you roll a high check when you jumped in there, Shanna? Were you being sneaky, or did you just kind of like run up and jump into it?
Well, I mean, if I was I'd be sneaky, but
Then I
didn't
need
roll
a stealth
to
check
walk
from you.
away. Okay. Uh-oh, he saw me.
He did.
I was so happy about getting onto the roof that I kind of like dove in with a flourish.
And then realized, oh, I'm supposed to be like sneaking up on this guy.
Yeah, I was too proud. I was too inspired by old man Professor Pants over there.
She did a victory dance
Actually-
on that roof.
I
He
did.
runs up to this chimney, and he kips up and jumps down the chimney.
You're not Santa.
Do you yell
And
that?
he is
Do you,
now not visible.
Yes.
anyone
I
let us
know
know
it's
that he jumped into the fucking chimney?
You're not Santa. Oh wait, you're on unconscious over here, right?
Baldur's Gate, whatever it is.
Is there a Saint Nicholas of sorts here?
No.
Oh, I would be the last person to know anyway. Is this the unconscious Travis?
He's not
I'm not
unconscious
unconscious.
anymore. He's
He's
flying
like
up in the air.
Yeah, I healed him. He flew up.
Okay, then I don't need to. Well, can we go down the chimney? Are we still in initiative?
Would you like to pursue down the chimney?
I want to pursue through the door.
The
Screw
doorway.
going through that fucking chimney.
One of these doors that's probably
You guys, fun though. What if this is actually a portal that goes somewhere else that's not inside the building?
And then you try
should
that.
check it
I'm gonna
out.
go through the door. I already busted my
going
knee
to.
open.
Fine, I'm gonna rappel down. I'm gonna set up a rope, and I will lower myself down slowly.
Okay, well, while you're setting up the rope,
Hi, everybody.
Scott, see you, Terry. Don't worry, we're wrapping up like right now. Scott, are you knocking? Are you kicking the door in? What's your plan?
I will call out. By order of the Flaming Fist, open your door. We are pursuing a criminal suspect that is apparently running down your chimney. And then I will actually like smash it, try to shoulder check the door. I have a strength of 8 though, so I don't think this is gonna work.
Oh man, the poor old man.
Don't roll a 1.
You're gonna break your arm. You're gonna
Don't roll a
pop it
1.
out of the socket.
Right. He might fail, and then Davari's just gonna walk up and actually try the door handle.
Oh,
Well, I didn't roll a nat 1. I
You
rolled a
didn't.
2.
That's good. I won't break your arm accordingly. So yeah, you definitely have that moment where like you go to shoulder the door and it just doesn't even like doesn't even buckle a little.
Yeah, Davari is going to walk up, push him out of the way, and actually just try the door handle to see if it's unlocked.
he's like, I've read this is how this is done.
It is definitely locked. I would like listen checks from the two of you and from Lolo up on the chimney.
I'm probably moaning about my shoulder, so I'm gonna give myself disadvantage on this.
What check are we doing?
Perception.
Okay.
2-1.
3.
Davari, you definitely hear things being broken inside the house.
All right. I'm not even going to try to let someone lockpick. I'm taking my mace out, and I am going to town on that door.
Go
Please
for it.
don't destroy expensive doors.
I'm just waving around my badge.
Yep.
It's not expensive. Do you want me to roll the hit, or do you just want me to roll damage? I mean, it's a door.
Just roll damage. It's a door. It's not going anywhere.
D6 plus 8.
So this is not a very secure door at all, and like your mace like blows a nice big hole straight into that thing.
Whap! And I'm like targeting the door handle, so hopefully it'll break the lock.
Oh, okay, you're targeting the door handle. Then I will say that the door handle is officially busted off. Like
All
you
right.
ripped the screws and nails right out.
It's
Excellent.
no longer
It
part
should
of the door.
swing open now, and now we can handle whoever Lolo is crawling through the chimney to try to hunt.
Well, so like the door handle's gone, but it's barred from the inside. You know, this guy
All
can't
right.
afford a lock.
All right, fine. I'll hit it again. I'll try to like punch a hole so I can reach my hand in and
Okay.
hit the latch.
That's what I was trying to help you with the first time, but then you wanted to hit the handle, so I let you.
No, that is totally fair. Davari was not thinking that someone in this neighborhood would be able to bar it from the inside like that, unless
Oh, that's
there's,
cheaper
like,
than a lock.
yeah, it's probably like furniture or things like that.
Yep. So again, you put a nice big hole in this door.
I'll see if I can find a latch or something to unbolt it, or if it's furniture,
Yep.
stick my hands through and shove the furniture back.
Nope. It is literally just like a 2x4 put horizontal across the door, so you can manhandle that out of the way.
Lift it up.
And then up on the roof, how skinny would you say Lolo is?
A body sized? I don't know. I didn't think about that. And now it feels like it'd be cheating. However, I'm probably not as a tiefling, since they're human size ish smaller. I'm assuming I'm thinner than this dude.
So you're slender.
I guess.
What's your strength score, your dex score, and your con score?
My strength score is a 0. My dex is a 2, and my con is a 2.
So yeah, you'd be more slender than you would be broad.
Yeah, see?
Like Travis.
Too real. That hurt me inside because that's so. Oh, now I'm sad.
So the question is, does he have like feet or like 90s?
Oh my god, the libel field, whatever his stupid
Yeah.
name was.
Field.
All right. So on your way down the chimney, I would like a dexterity check
Okay.
to
I
make
will
sure you don't get your
comic
butt stuck.
relief in here. Bring it on. Uh-oh.
You got a little wedged.
Do I just hear you complaining the entire time in my mind?
Stuck.
Down on the ground, the two of you managed to bring down the front or open the front door.
I'm probably stopped complaining by this point about my shoulder. Stood
You
up
sure?
and like I'm gonna wait for like he's gonna be like after you guys.
So the scene that you are greeted by inside the house is a old man was sitting in a chair in front of the fireplace. He is now deceased, quite graphically.
Aww.
There is a broken stool that someone probably tripped over. Some broken flatware. And there is another dead body in the kitchen. And the back window has been broken out.
I'm gonna look.
These guys are just freaking murder hobos.
They
Yeah.
are, and that's why they as a cult suck, whereas my cult
Are
is...
you saying this like upside down from the?
Yeah, no, I'm muttering to myself, squeezing through if you guys exclaim, like, oh my god, they're all dead. I'm like, this is why that cult is stupid. Nobody listens to me.
Strauss is going to like poke his head into the chimney about probably when Shane is like when Lolo's gonna and he's gonna like reach up, grab her arms, and just
Thank you.
pull her down.
He'll pull me down.
Nice.
Help me!
Okay.
You would think
So that's the end of the combat / chase possibility right now, and we went quite a bit over, so I'm sorry.
That's all
Nah.
good.
We will call it a night there.